When I say no and you insist on overstepping my boundary that I put in place when I said no, I automatically know that I'm entertaining a demon, a spirit, unclean spirit. Because if I said no, why are you begging? Why are you pleading? Why are you continuously asking after I said no? See, I used to fall for this a lot a few years ago. I used to say no. Cause I remember I used to do Uber and Lyft, and this one guy, I just had a whole bunch of conversations with a whole bunch of different people. But one guy was talking about boundaries, and he was like, and I told him how I would have a boundary, but then a person would beg me and do-da-da, and I would just be like, okay, fine, or whatever, because I would fall for that, so that Jezebel spirit, that controlling spirit. And that's what it really is, a spirit. And he was like, well, if you fell for it, was it really a boundary at all? Like, it wasn't a boundary. And I'm like, I get that. I get that. But what I was trying to say was that I set a boundary, but I was so controlled by this spirit that I would set a boundary, know that I did what was right, but then they would keep begging me. And I would always feel this pity, like, oh, I don't want nobody to feel like they have to beg me or plead with me about this. Like it's fine, but that's a spirit. Like they say, Jezebel would do whatever. She would do whatever to get what she wants. To continue to come into agreement with you. And one thing I hate is when people force themselves on you in any way, shape, and form. I hate when somebody insists, like in any form. Like don't enforce. That's why I can never be a salesperson. When the people that walk up to people and try to, no, because I don't want to force you. Even as a believer, I'm not finna force you to receive Christ or receive salvation or to get saved, share your story, get free, all that. I'm not finna force you. I will really have a sincere heart for you and want you to. I will approach it. But as soon as I see you resisting, I'm moving backwards. I respect you. I'm going to go on this way. That's how it should be. But a lot of people do not have this common sense. A lot of people don't think like that. A lot of people are controlled by a lot of spirits, and a lot of people don't know it because it's become so much of them that they don't even recognize themselves. Sometimes people just think like, this is just who I am. I even thought that, like, this is just who I am. Like, I don't know. It's just something I've always done. People have always told me that I was a good person. There's no such thing as a good person. But, but I would think that it was a good thing, but that's a bad thing because it got me in some bad situations. So if I don't even play by my boundary. If I say no, let me tell you, if I say no and you blocked it immediately, removed out of my sight immediately, I'm walking away immediately because you are a spirit and I don't play with spirits in this way. We ain't finna go, well, no. I know how to handle this spirit. Cause I said no and I meant what I said and I'm standing on that.
I want to make it known that it's not always sexual in nature that we're talking about here, because it could be family members, it could be coworkers, it could be friends, it could be anybody. These people that are used by these spirits, the spirits don't care who they're using to do it. Their agenda's all the same. And it's to be controlling, to be manipulative, to be domineering, to take advantage of you, to be forceful. That was one of the things that she had said. I saw a video one day. I was on my way to Kansas City, or I was on my way to St. Louis or something. And I had a video playing in the car of this dude that would just randomly walk up to millionaires on the street and try to interview them on how they got wealthy. And the thing that made me click off the video was how disrespectful of people's time that this guy was. His heart was in the right place, but his boundary, he didn't respect anybody's boundaries. So like the dude, one of the dudes was with his wife or whatever, and they were walking to go somewhere, and he asked him, how did you get your millions? And he was like, we own some schools. And then the dude tried to walk away. And then he was like, but if you had just one minute, and let me ask you another question. And then he was like, all right, but let me ask you one more question. If you had just one word for people, and he kept doing that. And he did it like 5 times. And then he was like, just one more question. And the guy was like, you've said that 5 times now, and you won't let me go. I understand you got to get content, but bro, you got to be respectful of people's times, especially a millionaire, bro. These people, they're out here trying to take care of business and get their errands ran. And it just seemed disrespectful to me because it's like what he wanted to get done mattered more than the people's time that he was interrupting. And these people are busy people. You don't become a millionaire by being lazy. Now, everything is spiritual, guys. Every single thing we go through in life is spiritual. I cannot stress this enough. And I don't think people realize that, especially in the thick of a spiritual situation. She said that she was in the car in the Uber talking to one of her passengers, telling how people don't respect the boundaries, but then she gives in, and the guy said, if you gave in, was it really a boundary? Sometimes the boundaries might be set, but all you have to do is give a small agreement. Just open that door, and the enemy's going to keep pounding you, hammering you with, these attempts, with the attack. And if he knows that the persistence has gotten through to you before, he doesn't care. Jezebel is not a respectable spirit. It's going to keep on trying what it's been successful with before. It's not just who you are. She said that she, oh, this is just how I am. This is how I've always been. It's not. It's not. When you come into agreement with things like that, you open the door for spiritual attacks to continue to prevail over you. Stop claiming things over you that's not who you are. This is just an assignment that you come into agreement with. This is just an identity that doesn't belong to you, because the word of God doesn't say that about you. The word of God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that he knows the hairs on your head, that he knows the plans that he has for you. And I'm pretty sure being under a demonic Jezebel spirit is not a plan that God has for you. I told you guys last week about the guy that was calling me the N-word, and he kept getting mad because I wouldn't send him any more money. And if you guys didn't watch that video, there was a guy who messaged me on PayPal. He sent the PayPal request, and I showed my wife, and she immediately was like, no, don't do it. And I should have listened to my wife, but I felt bad, and I felt like, oh, this person says that he watches my YouTube videos, and here I am, denying him a money request, but I don't know this person. I have no access to this guy. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's on drugs. I don't know if he's whatever the case may be. I have no clue this dude has any fruit, if he's truly a Christian or not. And so I sent him the money anyway. After my wife told me not to do it, I sent him the money anyway. And then he messaged me back like 2 days later asking for more money. And then I told my wife to text him back and message him back, and tell him that I couldn't do it, that it was just a one-time thing, because I don't know him, and I don't make it a habit of giving random people money that I don't know, at least not when it's in person. If it's in person and I approach you and, voluntarily give you money, that's a totally different thing. But someone just reaching out to me online, I have no clue who this person is. And so I won't be doing that moving forward, but I should have just listened to my wife, because 2-3 days later, he starts sending me all of these racial emails telling me he was going to kill me, calling me the N-word, telling me that God's going to get me, and God sees my selfish heart. And I'm just like, this is a demonic spirit. This is a Jezebel manipulative spirit over here trying to manipulate me and pressure me into giving him money. And then 2 days later, he messaged me back saying, bro, I just really need $25. And I didn't respond to him. And then he messaged me back saying, like, please, I just need somebody to talk to. I'm feeling like, and I'm not falling for it, bro. Like, you're not going to manipulate me into opening this doorway of communication again. And the thing is I blocked him, but he messaged me on like 12 different emails. So I can't really avoid this dude if he keeps on creating new emails. But I digress. When you set boundaries, stand on them. When you know you're dealing with a demonic spirit, rebuke it. Jesus is the name above all names, guys. You don't have to take this. You don't have to be spiritually beaten up by some demonic bully. You don't have to take that, guys. So that's my thoughts on this. I'll leave her link in the description. Her channel is Jasmine Simon. I'll leave this video linked in the description to give her credit for her work, as well as to make it easy for you guys to follow her if that's what you choose to do. But that's going to do it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.